Have you ever heard somebody use the phrase, "Don't you wish you could know the good old days when you're in them"? Well, here at Klas Motorsports, we're trying to do just that. Hi, my name's Aaron Inman, and I'm the co-host of the Racing with Klas podcast with my good friend and our driver, Andy Jankowiak. But here, we're doing something a little bit different. We're chronicling the building of a race team, a chance meeting between two modified drivers from the Northeast and a man with a passion for racing. Welcome to the building of a race team. Today on the building of a race team, Kevin Lapierre's history with modified racing, including Andy Jankowiak's father, and Andy Seiss's experience in both Xfinity and Cup racing blend to start Klas Motorsports.
But Andy, was going through that whole transition, and we're talking all the good and fun part, but also while all this was happening, the car was getting slower. I'm just going to say, Andy was getting frustrated. We had some sponsors interested. We were a piece of junk at Kansas, I think, at the end of that first year. Was it the first year or second year?
Yeah, it was the end of the first year.
End of the first year. And what happened is I realized, I said, okay, this obviously, racing is a team effort, but it's people don't realize, because they see the driver and sometimes you talk about the crew chief, but it is a very much a team effort, from A to Z. And I just realized, I'm like, okay, you've got to drive, and you've got a lot of committed people. But I realized that Mike Dayton and Andy Seiss, without them, we would, when I say we, I was trying to help Andy J race more, we would struggle. So that's what it came down to is, becoming a salesman and saying, Andy, are you happy working 500 hours a week and being on the road constantly away from family? I had to put on my sales hat. No, but, an appeal to him, which he was shy after, and I'm not trying to speak ill will and you filter what you need, but he was pretty shy about doing anything with a partnership after his previous experiences. So it took some time, and the right partnership and the right setup, to do this. And then the day he said yes, I knew, because, you're watching at the same time. He doesn't talk about it, but I was watching what he was doing in NASCAR, and whether it be the Kaulig Xfinity team, and the way they were running or the way Kaulig was, and it just seemed like things that he was touching, from the story you just heard about him helping Andy with Daytona to what I was seeing him do within, the upper NASCAR divisions and, Xfinity and Cup. And when he said yes, I went, okay, we've got something here. We've got something to build long term. And so we started building, but it was, Bruce that called. I will tell this, the first. So they did wonderful at Daytona, or maybe it was before Daytona, was the first Thompson race with the green machine, the 59, Steve's car. Was that before Daytona or after Daytona? That was before, wasn't it?
It was before, yeah.
It
was probably actually 2 years before.
Yeah, so when Bruce called me the year before and said, you got to start watching this guy.
Well, I don't know, because we did Thompson a few times. It might have been the year before. So, yeah, keep going.
Well, Bruce says, you got to watch this guy, Andy J. You got to check him out. And, he's a real deal. You got to put some money in. You got to help this kid out. So I look at Andy's racing Thompson. So my buddy Bill and I have been going to the races forever. And I was in that area. And I said, hey, you want to go Thompson? I want to see this guy. I want to see Andy race. Now, when I say this guy, I knew Andy's dad. I watched his dad race, Tony and his uncle. And, because I've been watching modified since I was a kid. So his dad was that, I want to say, that blue collar hero, that was doing very well with what he had. And I thought it was a great story. So I'm like, man, I got to go see Andy J. And we get there, and Andy, I think, finished last or second to last, like 4 laps down. And I'm like, and as I'm texting Bruce, I'm on the phone in the stands watching this, texting Bruce and going, are you sure it's the 59, right? The white one with the green? And I'm very sarcastic. So I'm like, you're sure? Because he's the one about to be the first car a lap down. And then like 10 minutes later, I go, I'm sorry, correction, 2 laps down. And he goes, well, he's probably just not handling well and he'll figure it out. And I go, Bruce, give it up. He's, what were you, like 4 laps down that day? It was just the car would not run. And let's just say Thompson is not his best track where he has the best.
I know that race, not to get sidetracked from the point here, but I remember that race because that's me and Steve Mendoza. We always, we're always swinging for the fences. And I was driving for this other guy and back home, Bud Dreyer, and he came up with a setup. And he's like, try this front spring setup. It'll work. And it was like a 600 in the left front and like a 400 in the right front with like a big sway bar. And I'm like, that sounds like nothing I've ever done. And Steve's like, you want to try it? I'm like, sure. So they go off for practice, and it was kind of driving okay. He's like, you want to go with it? I'm like, I don't know. Like, it seems okay. And by about lap 10, the car was completely undrivable. And I think we gave up after going maybe 2 or 3. It was what, like, Steve, I think I came on the radio because I'm always like, rah, we can get back. And it was like a point where I was like 30 miles an hour off the pace on the apron. And I just come to Steve. I'm like, can I stop? He's like, just come in.
Yeah, so that was my first experience watching Andy live. Yeah, I'm like, okay, all right, maybe it's just a bad night, but
it was a bad night.
Ended up,
we have bad nights at Thompson all the time.
Yes, you do. I think I made 4 trips to Thompson where I've driven 3 hours down, watch Andy go a couple laps down or crash, and then drive home. So,
yeah, Thompson's not good to me.
Thompson owes him like a big win someday. So
yeah, someday.
Anyway, but it was that's kind of how it all came together, and then it was perfect timing. Andy was building the garage, which he's in now, which was the perfect size to start up, and so we set up renting that, and everything just seemed to come together, and here we are. So
yeah, it's funny when the first days. The Klas Motorsports officially went open, which would have been the Tuesday after Phoenix, because when I wouldn't sign a contract to continue my cup deal, I was actually fired 4 weeks early when I wouldn't sign it, rehired about 20 minutes later, and then we're at Phoenix for the season finale, and I'm let on like, hey, by the way, when you get back, you don't have a job. I'm like, well, am I allowed on the plane? Like, yeah, we'll get you home. So we got a 6:30 meeting at Colleague Tuesday after Phoenix going into the off season. 6:35, I'm let go. So I said, Kevin, it's real. It's happening. It's starting early because I was gonna probably get to Friday, give my 2-week notice and all that. I'm like, well, and the crazy thing was I was living in my motorhome because our house was being built and my shop was not done. And talked to Andy J about, okay, like, we were going to take his Ford Speedway car to Daytona was the first thing on the list of things to do. And I probably set out the really ambitious task of we're going to strip this thing every piece. We're going to sandblast it and rebuild every part, not having a shop or anything. And the Old Hour Motorsport shop that my wife and I own, Jordan Anderson was renting it, still currently renting it. And I'm like, can I rent one bay back from you? So that same shop where Andy J and Steve Mendoza came and visit me the day he purchased the Schrader car, is Andy J trailered it down and we unloaded it in there and started taking it apart. And, that was the humble beginnings. It's kind of neat. We had one little spot where we stripped this car down, sent it off for blast and paint, start over, which, it probably didn't need it, but for me was like fresh start. We're starting new, like new paint on this chassis, no flaws. We're going to put our hand on every little piece and rebuild it. And it took a lot to get it done for the Daytona test, which was, second weekend in January every year from November, when we put it all together. But, yeah, it was a pretty cool deal for it to all, see it come together, but definitely like kind of a shotgun wedding of sorts. Like, oh, okay, like Kevin said, like, oh, business is going to pick up. And I'm like, okay, this is real. I didn't continue my contract here and we're going for it. And, been a blast ever since.
it was funny. One of our first lead sponsorship deals was Celsius, if I can say that. We were talking to them because we were carrying them in our stores, and they were sponsoring all our.
Bleep them out when it comes to that.
What's that?
Bleep them out when it comes to that.
Are we supposed to? We have to bleep that out?
Well, I don't want to give them any advertisement.
No, but well, we carry great product. We sell them in our stores, but Celsius came to us, and it was funny because it was so promising. Like, man, what a great connection this is. We want to be in racing. We're already in racing. We're just getting in there. Our product is growing. You're carrying it in your super busy stores. You're a race team. This couldn't be better. And then the next word their mouths at the meeting was, hey, we're partnering with Colleague Racing. Do you know who they are? Do you know who they are? And it was like, Andy and I went silent on the call. We're like, yeah, we do. And I'm not saying, it was like, we do. And I'm not sure how well the conversation is going to go from this point on. Andy, I would go, Andy, you want to give them your history, So, and I don't know. You could be friends with all of them. I have no idea. But, yeah. So, our first
The only thing I know is ranch fuel is much more delicious.
Yes.
That's right.
Shout out Ranch Fuel.
Well, it all works out because, Ranch Fuel came along and,
Yeah, with their natural ingredients and they're wonderful.
Yeah, so you do have to delete all of that because I forgot about Ranch Fuel. So you're going to have to remove that whole thing.
We'll bleep it.
There's just going to be like
But
7 bleeps in it.
Yeah.
That'll be the number one comment.
We'll go to the Ricky Bobby commercial. If you drink Celsius, then fuck you.
But anyway, but that was funny because I was like, oh, this could be big for us. And they're like, yeah, you looking for somebody in the trucks or somebody to kind of partner, Colleague Racing, work with them? And I'm like, yeah, that might be something you got to discuss with Andy. So
yeah, I just got walked out the door like a hostile employee. I don't know if it's gonna work out.
I says I don't think that's gonna work. That's your plan. We'll move on. But
well,
we ended up with a much better product.
To kind of wrap this all up, I do want to ask Andy Seuss this because you've got a lot of experience in racing. You've done everything from build teams from the ground up, being in Xfinity Cup. What makes you, knowing this business the way you do, go, here's what I'll do. I'll become a co-owner of a team. That'll be fun.
Well, to Kevin's point, like he said, I did not really want to be the co-owner. I would be lying if I didn't say that I was in a hostile state of mind for honestly a couple of years after what happened at ARCA Motorsports. But the old saying, and it's so true, like I woke up one day and I didn't know how to do anything else. People call me a boat mechanic, and that is my background, and my whole family is in the boat business. Certified Mercury, Mercruiser, Yamaha, all that stuff. I've been out of it long enough that I couldn't pick up like a computer and do diagnostic on those anymore. And, I know the basics, obviously, but what happened was I was some soul searching. I was owed quite a bit of money from ARCA Motorsports when I left, and I wrote myself a check out of the ARCA Motorsports checkbook with their bookkeeper knowing how much money was owed me. It was little point of stress between myself and ownership over there for a minute. I said, you have all the receipts. So the sad thing was I didn't really do anything for like a couple months. I should have invested it, paid off some of those credit cards I was racking up while trying to be a race car driver, not making a lot of money because I agreed to do that deal with the majority of my compensation being to drive. So I'm kind of floating around, and my wife was incredibly patient for years with all that. But she kind of, tapped me on the shoulder one day and was like, let me show you the situation we're in. Let me show you the credit cards, and let me show you this. And you have 2 young children that, go to daycare now and all that. And the only way for me was to go racing. And I'll be honest with you, I had no idea how much money I could make going cup racing. I did not know that people valued what I had done. Like, I didn't know, because I was just trying to make myself succeed as a driver. So I didn't know that the mechanic side, people would, want me to work on their race cars. And I worked on other people's race cars at my shop. I went to their shops. I did different things. My first little venture into cup racing was with Rick Ware Racing. They were, and I love Rick and Lisa Ware. They've been incredible for me for multiple reasons in my career. And probably that same soft spot for the little people in the small team. They were that, and, have become, annual cup owners now. And, but the person running their business didn't know that my agreement with Rick and Lisa Ware was I was not to be laid off in the off season, which, when stuff was different in cup, was kind of a practice. It doesn't really happen as much anymore, but I got laid off. And I was mad. I was mad again, from ARCA Motorsports to, I can't believe this happened. I was going to stay there. I enjoyed working there. I had a job at Trackhouse the next day, which was another thing, like, oh, wow, somebody wants me to work on their race car. And that was really cool. And as things changed, Trackhouse was supposed to be a 2-year deal at Richard Childress Racing. It was a 1-year deal because they bought out Chip Ganassi. Childress wanted me to stay with them in their shop, and they kind of set it up for me to go to college. And it was amazing. I was a car chief in the Cup Series, about as high as a person like me could get in an organization without having an engineering degree. I started engineering school, and then recessions hit and wanted to be a race car driver, and things changed. So I never did get my engineering degree. So I was kind of as high as I could ever make it. And I'm very proud of that I got there, and the work we did. But there was definitely something missing as far as the fun factor, maybe the bonding with your teammates, really feeling like you had an input or an effect on a team. So, at the time, I kind of had my cake and eat it too. Here I am in a car chief situation in the highest ranks of stock car racing, get to beat on my chest that I'm in this role, that I'm good, I'm all this. But at the same time, like, oh, this is kind of fun over here. And I don't necessarily get to use my creative juices on the cup side, especially with the new cup car. It really limits you, but I get to tinker with my buddy Andy J here, for a few hours and have fun. And, when Kevin kind of, had his vision of, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I want to do, there were so many upsides to it. I do like being innovative with the race cars, trying new things, which ARCA, kind of lets you have your way with some things more so than the cup car. Maybe me being mad at the world, I'm like, well, I'm only doing it if the shop can be next to my house. And he's like, well, we need a shop. So that makes sense. I'm like, oh, well, this is getting even better. And I remember little things I didn't enjoy about the cup racing that I was doing. And one of it was the limit of family access. And when I pointed that out to Kevin, he was 100% on board. He was like, yeah, of course families can come. My family's going to come. Your family's going to, everybody's going to have a great time. I'm like, wow, okay, this is cool. And little things about, taking care of the team and doing different things. Kevin was on board. We were really on the same page with a lot of how we wanted to treat people. And from that point, I was 100% on board. Like, I was like, this guy gets it. Obviously, his success in business and his various businesses, like, he gets what it takes with people. I think maybe I was missing that. So this situation for me, I don't know how to make it much better. Like, I'm at a shop at my house. My family can come. I enjoy the people we're doing it with. We've talked about expanding in different things, and we have a vision for the future. But the fact that Kevin comes with his motorhome and we hang out there after, like, that keeps me going. I enjoy this. I've been sending Andy J and Kevin pictures of what we're doing here in the shop that probably would get some people a little bit, oh, what are you doing? And I'm getting texts back like, hell yeah, like that's it. Like we're just all pumped to like, look at this piece of metal that we shaped differently. Like, yes.
Next time on the Building of a Race Team, we get to know our owners on a more personal level and what drove them to love this crazy sport of racing.